live streaming. So welcome. We're so excited. Well, other people are coming in. You all got the email that we're going to do a group poem at the end. So let's put that in the chat. And while Malcolm and I are doing our thing and talking, you guys can fill out the form.
Yes. I'm going to also put the form, I'll put the form in the chat real quick.
Okay, thanks, Malcolm.
For people to follow from there. Just as Writopia tradition, we love to make a group poem at events. It is kind of like a go-to thing. It is just a nice collaborative way to make some arts because, the best way to enjoy art is with other people. Hence why we like to present our own art.
Exactly.
Right?
And then it's just, and also for people who aren't, for audience members, if they're parents or friends, it gives them a way to engage and participate.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I hope everybody's been having a wonderful, wonderful week so far. Wednesday night, you're more than halfway through to next weekend. I know I'm certainly very excited.
Exactly. So we're so pumped for this partnership with the Nuyorican and with the Isidora Duncan Youth Ensemble. We're very, very lucky to be able to have this opportunity with both places.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so this is an event that is being brought through lots of collaboration. Once again, that whole theme of art with others is what makes some of the best. We have a good chunk of people presenting tonight. We ask that everybody stays through to the whole thing. If you do happen to be performing as well, do not leave right once you leave. Good thing to follow in life is artists support other artists, right? Anytime you go to a show, a gallery, anything like that, it's always good to stay, support, cheer on other people within your field. It is not a competition. We are all just trying to make beautiful things.
And I'm putting the run of show in the chat. And if you don't see your name, and if you change your mind and you want to read a piece, you can just chat us and we'll put you down.
Yes, yeah. So the signups for presenting are still open. So please, if you are feeling inspired at all from the art that you are seeing, please do share with us as well.
And also when it maybe instead, because everybody is going to be muted except for the one speaking, if you want to snap or comment on something, if something moves you, normally when we're at the Nuyorican or at a public reading, we will snap. But just hit up the chat and comment, let people know you love them.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely try to give people that feedback. It's way harder to do that via the internet and over Zoom. It's amazing and wonderful that we even can do this in the first place, right? But of course, there's always the pitfalls that we run into when we're not physically in the same place. So definitely be thinking about giving people snaps, virtual claps, comments, especially the comments. People love to hear specifically what others enjoyed about their pieces. So definitely want to include those.
And my darling, oh, there we go. Sophia did it. Was saying if you are presenting, to put your name in the box.
Oh yes, I'll make it way easier for us if I don't know if y'all should have the ability to change your own name if your name is not the name that we know you by. Then please make sure to change it just so that when it comes time to present, we are able to easily and quickly call on you.
All right, so we have 7 people who have filled out the form. Let's see if we can get some more good while you listen to our banter. And Maybe, Malcolm, you want to tell these good people about the Nuyorican and its wonderfulness?
Oh, yes, I absolutely do. So for those that are not, that have maybe not been with the Writopia community for quite as long, or maybe this is their first uh, Nuyorican Writopia collaboration, kind of poets presentation. Just to give you quick background, like the Nuyorican Poets Cafe is a physical place in the world that you can visit. So over the last 40 years, the Nuyorican Poets Cafe has served as a home for groundbreaking works of poetry, for music, for theater and visual arts. It's a multicultural and a multi artist institution. The cafe gives a voice to diverse groups of rising poets, actors, filmmakers, and musicians. The cafe champions the use of poetry, jazz, theater, hip hop, and spoken word as a means of social empowerment for minority and underprivileged artists. Our community of spectators, artists, students is a reflection of New York City's diverse population. Allen Ginsberg called the cafe the most integrated place on the planet. It was founded in 1973 and began as a living room salon in the East Village apartment of writer and poet Miguel Algarin, along with other playwrights, poets, and musicians of color whose work was not accepted by the mainstream academic, entertainment, or publishing industries. Algarin said, "We must listen to one another, we must respect one another's habits, and we must share the truth and the integrity that the voice of the poet so generously provides."
Snaps to that, Malcolm.
Mhm.
Snaps to that. And we're also so excited for our partnership with the Isidora Duncan Youth Ensemble. Isidora Duncan is known as the creator of modern dance, having rejected the rigidity of ballet and developing a style of free and natural movements inspired by the classical Greek arts, folk dances, social dances, nature, and natural forces. Duncan placed an emphasis on evolutionary dance motion, insisting that each movement was born from the one that preceded it, that each movement gave rise to the next, and so on in organic succession. 5 years ago, Carrie Tron, the fabulous director of IDYE, who happened to also be trained by one of Duncan's proteges, and I had an epiphany that this would be a wonderful opportunity for both of our communities. After all, Duncan would perform at French salons alongside poets and artists, interpreting their work. So thus the partnership was born. And each year, the ensemble selects some poems from our writers that inspire organic movement. Is there someone from the company who wants to just speak about or describe the process? Otherwise, I'll just muddle through. Is there someone here? Oh, Link Center. Okay. All right, I will muddle through. So it's really incredible. So we select some poems, and then they read them and practice and interpret them and dance to them. And then come up with choreographed dances to tell the story of that poem. It's really, really incredible. And they rehearse a lot, and then we have one rehearsal together, and then we do the filming. And tonight a week ago, we all got together and we filmed, and we had the poets stand and be in the film as well and read. But when the videos looked great and they sounded great on my computer, but over Zoom, the sound is a little off. So we thought that it would be best if the poets actually read the poems alongside the video. So, and as artists, we keep switching around. And I've just been told that it's structured improv and not fully choreographed. The structured improv, so the language of dance. So without further ado, you want to get this party started? Let's do it. So you've listened to our banter. Hopefully you filled out the prompts for the group poem. I am really, really, really excited to introduce Sophia Hall to you, whose poem Queen of the Court was choreographed by, not choreographed, structured improv by Isidora Duncan Youth Ensemble. So I'm going to mute myself, and Will is going to share his screen and show the video, and Sophia is going to read.
Queen of the Court. 9 p.m. heat, she dribbles, slick as sleet, stealing starlight. Street lamps sputter, dim and dank, like fire in slush snow. Behind her, night. Pocketed, enveloping, molasses thick, her mermaid hair sleeks inside a hoop, frizzes into fishnet, a white crown in the dark. Chlorine turns your hair green, her mother sighed, but she still cannonballed in, a wild thing. Toes press in tight shoes as she pounds pavement. Her wheezing sneaks wag their tongues. She twirls the paw in 2 palms, a grapefruit moon revolving earth. Her own planet she gravity defies. Fairy queen of the basketball court, she flies. Each aching rib euphoria. Quick ball change from hand to hand, hinged hand slamming shut. Pause, pivot, toe rise on 3-point line. Soaring through lyrical slip knot, swish splitting twilight in 2. Thank you.
Wow, that was beautiful. And it's so interesting the way the videos are slowed down over Zoom. But I think it really worked with the poem, right? So everything was kind of in slow motion. And that was just gorgeous.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I also loved that, like, I'm not sure if this, I guess this kind of came about afterwards, but the actual dance instruction that you have within the poem itself of like quick ball change and that terminology, I think just it sat really well, fused so well with like the combination of these mediums together. Wonderful, wonderful. So next up, we are going to have Ruby Cinder reading Questions. And then let me
and then followed by Lily Wright.
Sorry, I'm just trying to put this up. Okay. So this poem is called Questions. What is wrong? What are you doing? What lies are you choosing to be brewing? Nothing, everything, question mark, left a spark, and then another wave of curiosity parked in place. So many questions, so few answers. Continue to wonder, always ask, and then ask why you asked that. Strange questions, they still deserve answers, don't they? Searching for answers, answers unclaimed. If they never learned, then they never heard, never churned. Evolution not earned by answers, but earned by yearning, earned by questions. Why ask, why answer, why? Well, probably to avoid disaster. All 5 W's and more, yet no answers. That's okay, we can continue learning anyway. Learning through the questions. Where are you going? Where have you been? Where are you now? And can you live with it? Places, direction, destination, but is the direction directed and the destination destined? Is there destiny? Could there ever be? Has there ever been? As time and truth sways us away from it. Perhaps there is destiny, but we create it. By living life, by choosing where, by getting or avoiding answers, but still continuing to ask questions. When are we going to get there? Where is there? No, this is when, but places and time get confused and blurred all the time across the lines. These are questions that get questioned through the questioning, which leads to more questions. Who are you? Who am I? Identity has always been such a big question. Does it have an answer? We must discover this with questions. How am I always left out? How did this happen? How am I still around? How always forgotten, but it can't be, not now, because we need all the questions. Questions are important. Questions lead to knowledge. Knowledge doesn't have limits. And if you think it does, then you are the one limiting it.
Oh, wow, Ruby, fantastic. Yeah, I mean, the rhythm and the buildup of the tension too, just beautiful.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely fantastic.
So we've got Lily right with Love Letter to a Mug.
Hi, yes, this poem came about from a prompt that I thought was really interesting. It was a love letter between two inanimate objects. So this is from the perspective of a pillow writing to a mug. I wait patiently every night for your porcelain touch, the lingering warmth of that last cup of honey lemon green tea ginseng. The buzz keeps you awake as I beckon you to rest upon my body that lays flat as your weight settles into mine. Sleep does not claim you as instantly as it should. Perhaps the caffeinated fear of dark and oversteeped worry pries your eyes open, gluing them to a screen, to scare the life back into your body, touching mine, holding mine for support as you cry, tears that will be brewed into tomorrow's cup.
Tears that will be brewed into tomorrow's cup. Dang.
I know, I was about to say the same thing. I was like, oh, I love that line.
Awesome.
Also, high concept. I love everything about that. So
Really
next
wonderful.
next up, we're going to go throw it back to another one of our hybrid pieces of dance mixed with poetry. So now we're going to have Maggie Stratner with Pink Petals.
Is that the right title? I couldn't remember. Is it Pink Petals?
Let me see if I can find Maggie.
Oh, Maggie, do you want to switch with Rita? You're fine. Okay, good.
Sorry, I was typing in the chat that it was like not letting me unmute. Yeah, sure, that's the right title. Why not?
Okay.
Titles are ever evolving anyway.
Yes.
Okay. Soft pink petals like crushed velvet love seats, the color of tongues and strawberry ice cream in a sugar-coated cone, pink liquid sugar dripping down a child's fingertips and smeared on their full rosy cheeks. Delicate and fragile, crumpled at the corners from the hands of the blind. Underneath these petals, hidden beneath a blanket of warmth and pink, lipstick stains on a glass of champagne, cheap nail polish called ballet slippers, loudly colored bridesmaid dresses in a white church, heart-shaped lollipops that leave a sticky residue like my sister's lip gloss. Beneath that, there's a heart, one that races, one that makes her blush when he looks at her, one that breaks when her father yells. Her body moves like she's dancing, and the thought of her makes you smile. Her eyes sparkle with an innocence that seemed lost in the world of gray. She is a buoy in the middle of a cold sea during a raging storm, a flash of bright color amid the crashing waves, so quick the corner of your eye just barely catches it. She is a telephone booth in the middle of a hurricane. She is the sun and the moon and the stars and everything that makes you wonder. She is everything. Yet when she smiles, the corners of her lips turn down and her pink satin dresses cover more scars than she would like to admit. The cuts on her bottle cap wrists, they bleed through her lace white gloves. Scissors that once cut white paper into delicate snowflakes now leaves a trail of dried blood on the tissue paper tulips she made for art class. Her eyes sparkle with shimmering tears to match her strawberry lip gloss, the same shade of pink as the wilting roses beside her grave.
Can we let's give it up for these dancers too. Like Maggie, I was watching your lips on the video and you were matched perfectly what you were reading. Like it was as if you were reading in the video. How did you do that? That was great. Because the dancers have word cues for that structured improv. And aren't they beautiful? Let's just give them snaps, everybody. I mean, they are so, so Isidora Duncan danced and had her dancers in tunics, very loose fitting clothing. Really, if anybody from the dance company wants to speak about this would be amazing, but no pressure. I'll bumble through.
And also another just kind of round of snaps for the poem itself too. It was great, absolutely fantastic work.
I love how it starts out so soft, like you think it's going to be one thing, and then the buildup of tension and rage. Maggie's just a beautiful poet.
Wonderful. So next up, we're going to have Luisa Pelletieri.
Is Luisa here?
Let me see. Quite the long list of names.
We've got a great audience. I'm going to put in the chat one more time. Okay, so we've got good 11 people for the group poem. We've got.
Excellent. And if there's anybody who is joining us a little bit late that maybe did not get the link to the group poem, please let us know. We can throw it back into the chat.
I just did it.
Oh, wonderful. Lenny, you're already on top of it.
This
is why you're a professional. So I don't believe actually that Luisa is here. So we're going to go ahead and go to the next person on our list. And real quick, also just shout outs to everybody that's already presented. I think I always say this, but it is not easy to go in front of a virtual audience or an in-person audience and share something that you created. It is opening yourself up to a lot of vulnerability, vulnerability that people don't always enjoy doing. So I want to commend everybody for doing this act of bravery and presenting the work that they have been trying to piece together. So next up, we are going to have Iago Maknet Kandi reading Sunset.
Ooh.
Hello. Do you guys see me?
Yes, we can.
I'll be reading Sunset. Sunset. Whirlwinds wander crimson ground, wafting dirt from arid land, launching loose sit aloft and suspending it in the air. Clouds form around the specks like bird flocks in formation, shielding the rover from the Martian sun on its journey across Jezero crater. The rover's treads crunch through rust-colored soil, propelling it on a pre-calculated path, titanium glinting on shimmering sand. Along the rover's trek, its drill pierces untried terrain, industriously collecting sparkling mementos of alien realms. Its mechanical brain cannot conceive how the data it compiles will enlighten human knowledge about the universe. Oblivious to loneliness, bound by gravity to its planet, the rover carries earthborn hopes that we are not alone in this void. The sun sets on the cobalt horizon, and two tiny moons glow in the night sky. The rover records the moment, shining quietly in the dark. That's it.
Oh, that was wonderful. I loved the bounce that that had, like the bits of like alliteration. You threw in a lot of little moments of alliteration in there, and I felt like it had, yeah, exactly like they're saying in the chat, great rhythm to it.
And you never, I mean, I'm a big fan of Iago because I almost never hear sci-fi poetry, you know, with the, and it's just really cool.
Elena, do you want to introduce the next presenter that we have?
Well, the next presenter we have is my very own Rita Iyengar. This is another collaboration with the fantastic Isidora Duncan Youth Ensemble. And if Will could cue that up. And Rita, you can try to pull a Maggie and try to lip sync, lip sync to yourself.
I'll try my best.
I know Maggie's a hard act to follow, but you know, you got this. And can you say the name of your poem too?
Yeah, sure. So it's called Beautiful Butterfly. Hiding in a corner as I come by, growing each moment as the world goes by. I push and push as cracks form wide. I crawl out of the cocoon for my lullaby. As I unfurl myself and hold my sight, there are all these patterns and colors shining so bright. Rays of light warm me slight, and I tremble as a breeze brushes me by. I take flight as air lifts me high. I jump and sway, caught up in the beauty of the blue sky. So many vivid blooms that draw me by. The sweet nectar is all worthwhile. I hop from blossom to blossom, twirling high. I hear little girls' laughters and happy sighs, twinkling their innocent wide eyes, looking at me with glide. With awe, they cry, there goes a beautiful butterfly.
Oh, so beautiful. And the dancer is so sweet. And I love the jump. I loved the jumping and the flying and the mat. So it was a perfect poem for that. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous dancing. Just, I'm so blown away. And the reading was gorgeous.
Our first, true rhyming poem of the night too. Very fun. I loved it. Always love that added layer of like, okay, I got to make this also rhyme. Like, got to keep on thinking through these words. What's going to work? It was excellent. Every word chosen perfectly. Fantastic.
Yeah, every word was necessary. This is great.
All right, so next up, we are going to have Charlotte Long with A Story is Like a Human.
I'm so excited for that. When I saw the title, I got tingles, Charlotte. Tingles, I tell you.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't normally write poetry. I more prefer basic prose and stuff. But I was reading an article about writing, and it was like, oh, a skeleton is like a plot, and so it jumped into this whole extended metaphor, and I wrote it down. So here's my poem. The author is the brain directing pieces into place, controlling everything but hiding behind the face. With plot as skeleton, creating the outline of the creature, building the structure, making a base for every feature. And description is skin, tying it up with a bow, making it look pretty, presentable, even though underneath muscle is emotion, giving it meat and weight, adding all the meaning to the things we create. Setting becomes the feet, giving the story a place to stand, an anchor to the world, a solid place to land. Dialogue is the hands, letting the story feel its way through the world, through characters, with everything they do and say. The eyes are the window to the soul. That common notion isn't new. But if anything is the soul of story, it's characters. That for sure is true. We see the world through them, through their experiences, their arcs. Through them we get the theme or message. Through them the soul shines through the dark. Yes, stories are like humans, and if anyone asks why, I'll just tell them the metaphor about how characters are like eyes.
Charlotte, that was terrific.
Yeah, that was so good. I put it in the chat, but you had the underneath muscle is emotion line. That one really hit me. That one's so, it's so true to form, so pure. It's like, yes, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of great lines. Wonderful metaphor, thought through, thoroughly through.
Yes, really
Definitely
uplifting.
consider writing more poetry if you don't already.
Yeah, I mean, if you blew me away. Camille, you are up next. Camille is a wonderful poet and songwriter. But I think Camille has a poem for us tonight, not a song. Is that right? So, okay.
Okay, this is called Americana. I built a poem after excerpts from a poem by Allen Ginsberg.
Hold on 1 second, Camille. Can everybody hear Camille? I hear it a little faint. So can we try unmuting again?
Is this better?
Okay, can you say something again?
Hello?
Yes, that's better. Thank you. I just want everybody to hear you.
This is a poem built off of excerpts from an Allen Ginsberg poem. So there are 3 lines in here that are not mine.
Ooh.
America, I'm putting my queer shoulder to the wheel. America, the lump in your throat that coagulates with each operation, the hands underneath your rib, clutching the heart like an elementary school pledge of allegiance over loudspeakers, crack, like broken ceramic. America the beautiful, you speak to the shower head, shape the hair off your skin and dry. America, your father won't pronounce your name correctly. He says, honey, it's just too much. He says, why are you being so cruel to me? It's my birthday. America, the light cradles whatever left of your infant body and cuts it clean as you stand. The fog mirror sings Star-Spangled Banner, and you remember the definition of comfort from the upstairs dictionary, the page ripped to shreds. America, I don't feel good, don't bother me. I won't write my poem till I'm in the right mind. America, the old man from the corner store stares me down and watches my hands. America, he looks like my father's grandfather's father down from Europe, who immigrated at 18 with no money. America, you don't tell him to get out. And the kid down the counter hears it instead. And the man who watches you looks like this country. The news tells us it's not broken, that it's been working like this since I was born 8 days after Octavia Butler died in the middle of nowhere. To a brown mother with last name I know now, and the word New Eureka had followed me around like a sinkhole to the 6th train where I'm beginning to see my own skin peel it apart. The doctor says, and I put my right hand over my chest, say the Pledge of Allegiance to America. This self-portrait is a dead one, and I am both the square peg in the circle slot and the hand breaking it down in my neighbor's living room, in the street, in the hallway, in the pledge, coming from the loudspeakers, across the main office, playing the old song.
Camille, so beautiful. So beautiful. And your nod to Octavia Butler. Wow.
Yeah, that was a fantastic, fantastic poem. It was so just I could feel like just like the power, the emotion in the reading itself and the words. Thank you so much for sharing.
And your hand gestures too, like you are really embodying it, right? We really felt it. It's very powerful.
And just want to say for anybody else who is like hearing all this amazing work by these poets, if you are feeling inspired, we still do have some time for you to volunteer yourself if you would like to read as well too.
Yeah.
Next up, so we are coming closer to the end of our current list. Next up, we're going to have Marissa Michelle with hidden in the catacombs. Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
Okay, this is actually a last minute decision. I'm going to read this piece called Benediction. Yeah, okay. Benediction. No, I know, it's fine. I know, Lena, I talked to Lena about this before. It's fine. Okay. I could be a better daughter. My mother deserves a sunny side up girl, a girl who is someone's idea of home, who does what you want her to, eagerly. I could have buried my pride with the zinnias, let it wither in the winter, hope it would return in the spring. I hoped you would return in the spring, would materialize out of dandelion fluff and the pennies I tossed onto black tops. There are no wells here. Forgive me. I was childish to believe I could resurrect you. Once I made you a saint on a consecrated playground. My abuela speaks English and Spanish. She can cook pollo guisado without a recipe. She has the prettiest sewing machine you've ever seen. And you do. Charcoal black, embellished with gold lettering. I imagined you would teach me how to use it. It is rusting and cobwebbed in the basement I call a graveyard. I have an affinity for broken things. For rain. Storms make children of us all, remind us we are more fragile than we believe. Under duress, even the sycamore branches cave inwards, limbs reaching for dirt, returning to the beginning, wondering if their roots look familiar. At night, I imagine the sky collapsing into my hands. 1,000 lifetimes I'd given the clouds to hold, falling with it. I am left with a garden full of dead things every December, grandmother, if I am allowed to call you that. I talk too much about God for a girl who doesn't go to church. I don't know the Spanish word for forgiveness. I am limestone and burnt coffee grounds. If you threw me in an ocean, I would sink. I want to pour resin over your memory. Before it, too, slips from my sentience, winter is leaving now. Perhaps you are thawing. Perhaps you are on the other side of this invocation. Perhaps longing is tumbling from your eyes, too. You taught me how to leave without saying goodbye. You taught me how to listen for phantoms, to press my ear to the wind and hold on to the songs it carries. You have left me oratorios. The shadows are singing for me now. Know that when tomorrow comes and the emptiness finds me again, reminds me I am chasing an absence, I will not say amen, because this is not a prayer in need of an ending. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent,
So
excellent.
beautiful, Marissa. Thank you so much for sharing with us and for your beautiful reading.
I love that everybody's putting some of their favorite lines from the poems in the chat. That is fantastic. I love seeing that. And even just speaking about some of the imagery that you use, like the pouring resin over a memory to sustain it, like that was fantastic. That was great.
Really, really rich. Really rich. And next up, there's Anushka. We've got Anushka reading. What are you reading for us today?
I'm reading a poem called The Birds Are Dead Now.
Oh, yes.
All right. The birds are dead now. That's the poem. There was a sunset yesterday, even though it's winter. A heavier dark trickled underneath the marmalade. It eventually drowned the color out of the sky. Is it possible to be happy and sad at the same time? November means being shackled in a free fall. I fear that the monarch who promised to take my soul to Mexico with her dropped it somewhere in Missouri, and it's laying in the midst of decomposing birds' nests and dried out leaves. I pack myself away in my puffer jacket. For a minute, I forget that I have skin, that I'm just not a single point of mass, a concept, not an object, existing in the context of a theorem, except I'm not. I'm me, and I'm getting older. I resent myself for not going outside more in July, when I was intoxicated on self-destructive ambition and my dreams became stowaways on my train of thought. But I also forgot to sit on the patio, listen to the cicadas, eat my Rocky Road ice cream, and feel droplets from my wet hair run down my back. The crickets chirped and the waves crashed, the bonfire cackled and my big break came. I can taste mid-July, the adrenaline of stolen joy, warmth that isn't contingent on the sun. I splurged on impulsivity. The blackness of the night felt navy blue, and I cried and bled, but it was cathartic. The birds took risks and you held me in the night, knowing there was no obligation to be there in the morning. But the temporal cycles are defined by starts, stops, and changes. Now I'm drowning in exhaustion from doing nothing, romanticizing memories I hated in the moment. The birds are gone, or dead, or missing, but I'm still here. I tell myself winter will come and go. It will, but it will come again, and I'll be older every time.
Oh, I always love the way you read. I always love that. So beautiful. So gorgeous. And I want to just thank everyone for coming again. I know we're all getting sick of Zoom.
Zoom fatigue is very real.
It's very real. And we are going to be, hopefully doing a live event in the Nuyorican in the spring. So I'll bring a field trip from Westchester, and Sophia Hall will come from DC. We'll make it happen, Sophia. And then New York City folks will make their way down there, so that we can be together in person. Anushka, I'll talk to you about that. That's
Yes,
a great thing. I am really to almost close out the night because Anushka and Sophia are going to read our group poem. We've got one more. Malcolm, could you put the group poem in the chat one more time? So
yes.
So parents and friends, this is an opportunity for you to do a group project with us. So we have a lovely poem right now happening. But I am going to introduce you to our final piece of the night, which is also a collaboration with the Isidora Duncan Youth Ensemble. And this is DZ Rochelle, who is an incredible poet. And they're going to read the poem along with the video, but maybe I don't know, maybe we could do it twice to hear how it sounds with just the video. And then if we can't hear the poem, maybe we could try it that way. What do you guys think? You all right with that? Will, do you think you could do the sound?
Yeah, I can play the video with the sound.
Let's play the video with a sound and just see. And then we could play it again if people really can't hear.
I was walking home when a dying star loosened its grip on the sky, like a rotten tooth freeing itself from a swollen, aching gum. It would fall into the ground if I had not caught it moments before it shattered in the asphalt. It was heavy and it burned my hands, but it was beautiful. God is dead. I know because I held her in my arms, and as she took her dying breath, she wept. She was sorry to leave us all behind. With nobody left to look after my children, she cried, they would surely starve. I did not tell her that we had already been starving for millennia, and she turned a blind eye to our hunger, and said that life on earth would be beautiful if only we believed in her. Instead, I brushed my fingers against her burning cheek, and I told her that everything would be all right, and I sang to her. God is dead. I know because I held her in my arms, and as she took her dying breath, she asked what would become of all those who believed in her, all those who followed her teachings to every conflicting letter, all those who had nothing in their lives but a love for her. They will be so lost without me, she thought. I did not tell her that no one believed in her anymore. We all knew she existed, of course, but that wasn't the same as believing in her. We had been let down too many times to trust her the way we once had. Instead, I kissed her forehead and I told her we'd find our way to the light somehow, that she needn't worry about anyone but herself now, as if that would change anything from the way it always had been. I was walking home when God died, and nobody noticed she was gone.
That was great. I would like to hear you read the poem out loud. I mean, if you all could humor me, I would like to play the video one more time and have DZ read it out loud. Is that okay with everyone? And then we'll read the group poem. I guess some people heard it, but I maybe it's just me.
No, I think we got some nods. Let's go ahead. Let's have it again. But this time, let's DZ, if you'd be willing to read aloud. Oh, let me unmute you. That is. I was so good for the rest of the night. I was almost there.
I was walking home when a dying star loosened its grip on the sky like a rotten tooth freeing itself from a swollen, aching gum. It would have fallen to the ground if I had not caught it moments before it shattered on the asphalt. It was heavy and it burned my hands, but it was beautiful. God is dead. I know because I held her in my arms, and as she took her dying breath, she wept. She was sorry to leave us all behind. With nobody left to look after my children, she cried, they would surely starve. I did not tell her that we had already been starving for millennia while she turned a blind eye to our hunger and said that life on earth would be beautiful if only we believed in her. Instead, I brushed my fingers against her burning cheek and I told her that everything would be all right, and I sang to her, God is dead. I know because I held her in my arms, and as she took her dying breath, she asked what would become of all those who believed in her, all those who followed her teachings to every conflicting letter, all those who had nothing in their lives but their love for her. They will be so lost without me, she sobbed. I did not tell her that no one believed in her anymore. We all knew she existed, of course, but that wasn't the same as believing in her. We had been let down too many times to trust her the way we once had. Instead, I kissed her forehead and I told her we'd find our way to the light somehow, and that she needn't worry about anyone but herself now, as if that would change anything from the way it always had been. I was walking home when God died, and nobody noticed she was gone but me. Sorry, I think I got off for the timing.
That is all good. I'm so happy that we had you reread because I completely missed that killer opening about it loosening like as if a tooth from like the gums. That was such a like an evocative line. I loved it so much. I'm so glad that there's a lot of gems in there that we were able to hear because we had to read it again. So I'm glad that you're willing to do that.
I was talking and muted. So in the spirit of improv, structured improv, we're going to have Sophia and Anushka, who have just been told this, that they're going to read aloud the group poem. I shared the spreadsheet with you. Do you have that? Yeah. Should I share the screen? And what I thought was that you could do, I hate it when, I love it when. You could just, you could trade lines. Or you could do it, just go down the line and do I hate it when. And then one of you does I love it when. And then how about that? We're doing some structured improv here. Does that sound good? Sophia, could you start out with I hate it when, and then Anushka could read I love it when. Sophia reads I won't, and then Anushka reads I will.
Oh, let us unmute you as
And
well. Give
should
you
I
the power
share
to-
the screen?
Lena, we said we'd do half and half. Should we not do that?
Yeah, half
Yeah.
and half.
I'll do I hate it when, and then I
you
won't.
and yeah, and you do I love it when, and I will. So Sophia's going to go down the line. See, we're just doing a little rehearsal, everybody, first. Does that sound good, Anushka?
Yes.
Okay.
I hate it when corruption, judgment, and cruelty are not just shown but encouraged. When people don't see reality. When people walk slow. When it's cold and rainy. When my computer storage reads full. When I only get 4 hours of sleep. When I get anxious as I miss the little moments in life. When I am misunderstood. When the sun looks at me like that, waiting for me to move out of the shadows. Stop staring at me, sun. Your warmth and possibility, I don't want it. When it rains on my birthday. When people are bigoted. When I can't seem to warm up no matter the layers I wear. When people tell me what I'm not. When it rains blood. When the milk from the fridge rots as you hold it. When I can't seem to be myself without the edges of your lip following inwards in soft, jagged judgment.
I love it. Wait. Okay, perfect. I love it when I get poetic inspiration. I'm around smart, generous, kind people. My family members hug me. It's a sunny morning. I know what kind of cloud I spotted. It's snow. Sweet myself. I'm allowed to speak freely about what I love. The rock settles in my lungs and it all just stops. I'm laughing with my friends at the party. People are accepting. She looks at me and smiles. People stand with me when I make noise. And there's a twinkle in your eyes, your smile in the picture of gentle. I realize that life is messy and piecing it together is like trying to figure out how something came out of nothing.
I won't give up or back down. Go against my beliefs to please anybody. Spread rumors, stress. Be late tomorrow. Stress over my math test next week. Give up. Cry in front of others. Run away from it. Ever give up. Be impatient. Compare myself to others. Be quiet and lie down. Eat today. Wake up with the sun on my face. Drown in it.
I will rise. Go out of my way to help love unconditionally relax. Say good morning to my dad and give my friends and family a hug. Keep going and try to make sure I am happy. I will remain strong. I will sit on the clock and soak the infinite cycle of ups and downs. Rock you, be kind, I will keep growing. Stand up and glow like the moon in the dark of the night. Cherish, breathe, 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 I will breathe.
Oh, that was fantastic. Wasn't that
so
wonderful?
good.
That was you. That was a collaboration. That was art. Sophia and Anushka did such a beautiful job reading. It was wonderful.
That was a wonderful group poem. Loved everybody's contributions. So that is all the performance that we have for tonight. I want us to just give another round of applause for all the artists that put themselves out there tonight, read their work, let us be entertained.
And the dancers, Isidora Duncan Youth Ensemble, thank you so much. Such a wonderful opportunity for us to partner with you. Such glorious dancing. And thank you for your patience, because it might have been a little rough seeing how the video was slow. But I think it ended up working really well.
Yes, love the multimedia art. Also, big shout outs to the New York Poets Cafe. Thank you for hosting us virtually. We can't wait to be back in your presence in person. Hopefully this spring, once things are able to be a little bit more safer in person, we can have that happen. But thank you for creating this virtual space for us to all enjoy art.
And we can find, so it's on, this has been streaming on YouTube and Facebook, and we'll be able to lift a recording from it if you want to see yourself recorded, or if you don't, that's okay too. But that's always fun too, to see how that goes. I'm so happy that there were so many people in the audience, so many people supporting the poets and the dancers and the Nuyorican. This collaboration is just gorgeous, and it's like a big warm hug.
Yeah, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their evening, and hope they have a wonderful rest of their week and winter and year as well.
Thank you, everyone.